I know he's not here to confirm it, but John told me he was working on an old man's AC unit, and there was one unit in like a room that was just a bunch of like Nazi memorabilia. Do you remember anything about
He
that?
never told me about that.
Really?
No, I didn't hear about that.
So it could just be he has like a history buff.
Yeah, it could be.
But I think it's very interesting to only have a
Or maybe
room
it was
with
his grandfather's. But even then, that's weird.
yeah, just to have a room with like.
It's literally the episode of Family Guy where
yes, but Chris went to that dude's
Chris
house.
goes, yeah.
interesting, and these people walk among us. Like,
Yeah, they're the real life like fucking daywalkers.
You don't know what goes on in people's personal lives. You
Yeah.
ask them like you could be like standing in line at Home Depot and like the dude behind you just looked like the fattest shit on his wife before he left.
and to you, it just seems like he's the nicest guy ever. But he just got back from taking a little load on his wife's chest.
His wife wanted to grow more hair.
That's true.
My name is Martin.
I'm Afonso.
I'm Luke.
And I'm Darren.
Welcome to the Scatcast.
We don't know either.
Hey.
So we got returning guests Luke and Martin on this week's episode of the Scatcast. Shout out to John. He couldn't make it. He's a little sick right now. Got a bit of the sniffles. Didn't really like how his voice sounded, so we're just gonna record this without him. But he sends his condolences, wishes all a happy week. And yeah, so how have you two been?
Good.
Chilling, working.
Yeah.
He is so geeked.
You
For
don't have to
like
get that
the audio listeners, you gotta like listen to that voice and then just imagine the face associated with that voice. He is off the shot.
He's a little off the Benjamin right now.
Yeah.
What can you say about the military? It's been like a year.
Not much else, honestly.
What were those drones, yo? Like, what was going on with them drones?
I think it was just
bro?
people mistaking shit in the sky and calling them drones.
I honestly do not know, and if I did, I could not tell you, because if I did, you would have to die by these hands.
Damn.
Goddamn.
Have I asked you about 2028 yet?
No.
What's going on in 2028?
Are you talking
Yeah.
about like the projected
Like
timeline with war?
Yeah.
Stuff? Yeah.
yeah.
Huh?
No, you haven't asked me.
So I have a friend in the Navy. I've got a friend in the Marines. I've got a friend in the Army. I think I nailed all of them, right?
And he's
then I
in
got
the
you
Air
in the Air
Force.
Force. I got all 4 of the important branches, Coast Guards. Yeah. But so I was talking to my friend in the Marines, and he was like, "Yeah, so my commandant predicts that in 2028 we're gonna have naval engagements with China over Taiwan, right?" I bring this up to my friend in the Navy. I was playing, I think, Minecraft with him. And he was like, "Yeah, that sounds pretty realistic," because he's in Okinawa too. So I mean,
Okay.
he would know.
Yeah.
And then I asked my friend in the Army. He's like, "Oh, dude, definitely." So I wanted to get your opinion on that.
I don't have much. We've been told 2027. That's like the big number.
Shit, wait, specifically with China.
What the hell? Earlier, right?
Just with it's. They don't really specify. I think China's kind of like the main one.
Have they said just engagements with?
It's just not even that like they're. Like that's when it's like that's just like kind of like a projection.
Like when they see
Projection or
us escalating-
prediction?
Prediction.
Okay. I was like, I don't know if this shit's like planned or something.
No,
like, holy
no.
shit.
Prediction.
We're gonna
Prediction.
attack you this year.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like,
They don't really speak
So
on it much.
basically,
They're
it's
just
just-
like,
it's-
hey, we need to be ready.
is that
'Cause-
not classified?
I mean, it's out. Like,
Oh. Huh.
I'm pretty.
Everyone's kind of speculating this at this point.
Well, I mean, there's like articles on it when that's like the predicted time.
Yeah, by the way, try and talk into the mic, like in this
Okay.
direction.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. They don't really tell me too much. I'm kind of like a grunt from Halo, really. So I don't know anything.
2027 to 2028, we're gonna be put in Taiwan. Maybe that's why he's saying we got to make our own chips because he's probably like, nah, we can't.
Well, that's Taiwan's only deterrent against China.
Yeah, so he's like, we got to make that shit here.
Yeah. I don't know. They'll just like they'll say they'll talk about it and be like, we need to be ready for 2027 when they like want us to do like a basic task. Because I guess that basic task
It's gonna be
doing
so
the most basic
important.
thing
3
ever.
years.
Well, exactly. Yeah. So, but other than that, I don't really know much. Can't really.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
and then that's
three-
the timeline that's been thrown out, which I've seen online and stuff too. So.
Which is crazy because like if this whole thing is he's running on peace, that's gonna be kind of fucked. If everyone's like waiting, like
I mean, that's been like since I've joined. That's when it's been talked about. Like,
damn.
and basic training. Type,
Damn.
like that's yeah. It's been like the word on the street is. That's when
Shit's about to get real.
I guess I
That's
don't really see
exciting.
it though, but
It's always
Why don't you see it?
maybe it's just like I choose not to.
Oh, so 'cause- yeah, that means
You
you're one of
wanna
4
see
then.
it.
That would say no.
Really?
Because the other 3, like I said, like those like my other friends, like unanimously agreed. Like, yeah, that's probably gonna happen. 2027. That sounds right.
Well, obviously, like I
2028.
don't really know anything like specific high up details. I'm sure are like classified information.
Yeah.
So I don't see like how they're getting this date.
They're just telling you something. You're like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, you're not really. If they're saying that, you
Plus,
don't know why.
like seeing it online as well. It's like, why is this like the specific date? It's kind of
It's a date.
Well, the year.
like the
Oh,
year.
okay,
yeah, the year.
It's always at the beginning of the century. Like shit pops off. Now I'm like just going back. It's like a weird
World War II
human
started
cycle.
in 39.
Yeah.
Beginning like before the first, like the 50th, like the midway. It's always like the first quarter of like the century.
World War One started 12.
12.
14.
Yeah.
War of 1812. Then like I was the only one that was like weird was us because we were like 1763,
1776.
1776. Yeah.
We
And
need
so-
to do back to history class, man.
Yeah. But like we were like at the end of the century. But usually the beginning of the century, people like really hate each other for some reason. So
I guess.
I don't know. 'Cause,
Maybe
you
I'm
know-
on the lucky end. I get to be there. I guess. Now, hopefully, I'm out by then. I should be out by then.
Okay.
That's the
Okay.
plan.
I was thinking of enrolling for med school, but I don't know yet. I might just take the loans.
Maybe not
I
till
don't know.
2029.
Yeah.
Just to be
Yeah.
safe.
Might be the best decision.
Yeah.
So like, what do you do in the Air Force?
That you can like say without
Yeah.
being like under NDA.
Basically, just kind of like a IT noob. That's really all I can say.
Okay. So like, could you do air traffic control stuff potentially?
No, that's like a specific job.
That's like okay.
yeah,
Okay.
specific job for that.
Very niche. Okay.
What about you, Martin? What's going on with you? Come on,
Work.
work.
Y'all want to know what I do in work?
You make water good and healthy.
Purify water.
Yeah, you had a whole episode.
Last time y'all heard me talk, it was about how the bad water, how bad the water is.
So you have to like
And how it's better. How we make it better.
So do you mainly like install units or do you actually do like pipe work and?
Oh no, we just do. Yeah, we just install units. We don't do in the pipes.
But you do sales though, specifically, right?
Yeah, we do, yeah.
Oh, I see.
I do sales specifically, but there's people that do installs and whatnot, finances and everything. But yeah, I'm doing good. I got my cousin and my nephew working under me.
Oh shit! It's a family.
Yeah,
That's
I
cool.
got them over, so they're working under me. And it's going good. It's going good. Getting money, saving,
That's good.
paying off the car. I got a new car, so.
You paying on the principal?
Hmm?
Or you paying just the minimum, or you paying on principal? So you like
I'm
paying?
paying a bit more.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I do a thing where I pay every 2 weeks instead of like every month.
Ooh, damn.
That takes off like a couple of months off.
Yeah, that would.
Yeah, that helps out.
God, this shit figured out and sorted. Fuck, I'm still trying to get my shit together.
I mean, shit, but it's always a struggle, Some days you don't get sales, some days that shit happens, but you gotta keep going at it. Working hard, love life, love God, and He'll do good, and you'll do good.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
That is the word.
It's like the grossest thing you'll have had to deal with in like work.
I'll go last because I clean.
Okay, I
for
can
a
go
living.
first.
Yeah.
This is old though, like pre.
Grossest.
Yeah.
Well-
Because I guess something happened to me over like. Yeah, I wanted to bring that up. I think it's funny.
Okay.
I
So
think I have the most tame because I don't think much can go wrong.
yeah, okay. So this was my senior year of high school, and I worked at O'Charlie's. If you guys remember.
Yeah.
Is that still a chain? Is that still around?
I think it is, but it was the one
Scenic,
on
okay.
Scenic
Okay.
that's like closed down now. But
yeah.
I worked there for a bit, and I used to like rotate between like front door, like host, or I'd be on the back doing like to go orders.
Okay.
And there was one time I was up front, and it was like kind of late at night, and I was the only host up there. And my manager comes up to me, and he's like, "Hey Luke, somebody just shit themselves at the bar. We need you to clean it up."
How did they get out their
No.
pants? Did they take their pants off and shit on the floor?
So no idea. All I know is
No.
he came up to me and just said, "Hey, somebody shit themselves at the bar. We need you to clean it up." Now, like I've always had like very strong gag reflex when it comes to like bad smells like that. Like I just can't handle it.
Mhm.
So I walked out of the front, and just the bar was kind of like right next to it. So I walked out of the front and went to the bar,
Mhm.
and immediately I'm just hit with like the worst smell ever. And like I cannot even stand within like 15 feet of it. So I'm like yeah, I'm not cleaning it. And he was trying to force me to do it, and I was like, I will walk out right now and never come back if you make me clean that. So my manager was forced to at like 8 o'clock at night to clean up shit, and I had to watch him do it, and it was just one solid log, and that was it. It was just a log.
Oh my god.
That was just on the floor at the bar. And then for the next about 2 weeks, that bar just smelled like shit. So I would go to sit people there, and people would freak out and refuse to be sat there.
Yeah, no.
What we do in the hospital is that we'll get coffee grounds and we'll just leave them out and about.
That's a smart idea.
Yeah, and then we have like this clinical grade, just like what do you call it?
Stink
Room
be gone?
freshener.
Yeah.
Stink gone. Just
Yeah.
sprayed it. Like people spray it in their fucking mask. Like I got to wear a mask whenever I deal with human like stuff.
Dude,
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
I can't imagine.
Like
how,
somebody calls me like they shit. I'm like, okay. The first thing I do is put a respirator on. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got urine in my eye a couple days ago.
What?
Yeah, and it wasn't like fresh urine. It was like catheter piss.
Ooh.
It was like I was taking off an external catheter, and it was like stuck to the dude's groin. So
No.
I started pulling at it, and then I just had like a
So
shit ton
gross.
just splash in my, and it got in my eye.
I would
I was
actually
like-
crash. I'm not gonna. I would crash.
I
out.
did. I went. I was like,
No
I screamed.
way.
Like I was like, oh damn it! And I just like ran out the room. And then like one of the nurses was like, "Are you good?" And I was walking like super frantic. I was like, "I got fucking urine in my eye." So then I went to like a sink and I just started I just like cupped water and just rinsed my eye for
Yeah.
like 10 minutes.
Oh, that would just ruin
You
my
were
day.
good though, no pink eye afterwards?
No, I'm fine. I wore my glasses the day after because like
Yeah.
I didn't want to just mess up more contacts.
Yeah.
Because I had contacts. I wear
Oh, you
contacts,
take those
right?
shits out. Yeah.
I thought when I rinsed them, my contacts would pop out, but they didn't. But like first thing I did when I got home was just trash my contacts, and
Yeah.
just get a new pair. But
Yeah.
I mean, just like, that's crazy, but just imagine being that old dude and just having your catheter taken off and you get piss in your nurse's eye, and then they just.
Were they
yell.
even conscious when you did that?
he actually had dementia.
Oh,
And
so
he
you
was
probably
a
forgot.
little disoriented. He felt really bad though.
Oh.
Like when he saw me like rushing out of the room, and then he turned to the nurse and was like, "Is he okay? What happened?" Because he thought I was like his friend or something. I mean, we were friends. He was a cool guy. He's a really nice guy.
Right, yeah.
But I just got his
Oh, man,
catheter
that's-
piss in my eye.
that
But
sucks.
he was also admitted for a UTI. But the last urine culture we took of him, he came back negative because we were
Oh,
discharging him at the
okay,
moment.
good, yeah.
Luck the fuck out. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
That kind of reminds me of it's not really that similar, but when I was like 15, so like sophomore year of high school, I think, I had appendicitis. So
That's
I
when
was,
like your appendix you don't need, right? That gets really swollen.
Did your
though?
appendix explode, or
it didn't
was just
explode, it was
inflamed?
inflamed.
Okay.
So
Did they remove it?
Yeah, so they removed it, and so I was in the hospital for the next few days, like, and I just could not walk, do anything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I had to like pee in like this big
Oh
jug thing.
yeah, the urinal. We call it urinal.
Yeah. So I had that, and it was like kind of like next to my bed.
Yeah,
It's
they
like,
clip it on the bed railing.
yeah. So there was like the middle of the night. I feel back to my
Did you
dad.
drop it?
Yeah, so I feel back to my dad was in there as well. So I'm like, I gotta piss. And I went to go grab it and I just dropped it and it just fucking like immediately just everywhere, all over the floor. And
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
try and I empty that shit as soon as I can.
yeah, and I felt bad too because like I felt bad for the nurse, but I also felt bad myself because I had to piss so bad and I couldn't because my jug is on the floor.
Oh.
So my dad had called a nurse, and of course it's like the one super hot nurse at the hospital at the time. And I'm like so embarrassed. I'm like, please, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to drop it. And then she's like, oh no, it happens all the time, like more than you think. I'm like, that does not make me feel better. That does not-
it does happen a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I
so.
figured.
Really? Actually? Like,
People dropping urine, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I empty the urinals when I can because I don't want them to drop it.
gotcha. Gotcha.
Very unfortunate. Very
Ugh.
unfortunate.
So this is grossest thing in life or in work?
Work usually.
I mean, I guess you
You
could
said in work.
throw it life. Just the grossest thing you ever worked with. Or had to clean up. I don't know.
I don't know. Work is really tame. In life, grossest thing. Jeez. I have this uncle in Colombia, and we were in this one farm. And this guy's bald, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He's balding. There's cows outside, and we were like, oh, like we heard that if you put cow shit on your head, then that helps you out to grow your head. And he was like, really? Yeah.
So y'all were trolling him?
Yeah, we
Oh
told him
my
to do
God.
it. Okay,
Wait.
I'll do it. So he fixed him up, and he did it.
Oh my
He fixed
god.
him up.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Why would you do that to
You
him?
did him so dirty.
Yeah. He put it on for a little bit, and then he took it off, and then he just smelled like shit the whole day.
It's got to be a common thing in
Yeah.
like psych hospitals.
No, I don't know what happened afterwards. If his hair actually did grow.
Bro, yeah,
I mean, his hair stayed.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think your hair's
Nah,
gonna
I
grow
don't
from
think
cow
so.
shit to sitting there.
Yeah, but that shit was funny.
You guys are kind of assholes, man. Why do you trick your uncle like that?
Dude, I'm
Yeah,
like, I'm
me and
literally
my
just
brother
going through
were
like all the
assholes
houses
to
I've
him,
like.
right?
I've probably seen a lot of.
He didn't
Yeah.
like
Well, don't usually clean people hire cleaners?
It's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Cause like clean people hire cleaners, and then also like think about like move
And
outs.
they
and
clean and they
move-ins.
do a lot of good shit.
So like you get hired by like real estate companies trying to sell houses, or
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the last one we did, it was fairly clean, but it was a huge ass house. I'm just gonna give like a loose one. So this lady has a lot of medical issues. Really sweet lady, but you know how like there's those toilets on top of toilets, like those like
yeah, like the seats.
yeah. So like
Yeah.
because she's old, like her knees don't work, so she has to put it. I don't know what her bowel movements are.
Oof.
But it's all like
It just-
because
like
it's
a-
now sitting on top of her actual toilet. It's on top of the toilet now. Yeah, I clean
Wait,
her
wait.
house once a month, bro.
Wait, she can't flush.
No, it's just it gets everywhere.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Because it's funneled in a cone, and
Yeah.
and the fake toilet is smaller than her normal toilet. There's overlap.
Wait, it's not open at the bottom?
They're both open, but the rim of her like the toilet that's taller is on top of the seat. It doesn't fit into the hole. It's on the fucking seat. It rests on the seat.
I know what you're talking about, but how does it?
So it doesn't just go directly into the toilet. It gets on the actual
On-
toilet seat.
Yeah,
and
okay.
And then it goes under.
And do you have to clean it?
Yes.
Ooh.
Nice lady, but that's a once a month thing. I
Yeah.
always want to shoot myself in the fucking head.
That'd be like a never a month for me. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah.
It's
How
like
much- how much
whenever I go to the
money?
hospital.
I don't know, like some
Yeah.
hospital stuff is just crazy. Hospital
The
stuff.
hospital's a little neat though because a lot of the stuff we like expect to get poop on, we use pads, so you don't have to clean it. You just roll it
Oh.
up.
Okay.
But yeah,
I don't know, I've cleaned just like weird trap house. Like there's just imagine just some gross weird stains that you're like I would never touch that.
Yeah.
I probably touched that.
Nice.
I've gotten weird like oh my god. There was this one time I was cleaning out a toilet and like it just got like right here under my eye.
Oh.
Dude, I was just sitting
Like
there
the-
like,
like shit?
silently It was just I don't know what the fuck was in it. Like,
Ooh.
it could have been fucking chemical X for all I knew. I just knew I wanted to wash my face with bleach and I was
Yeah.
just like I was tweaking. My hand was shaking.
I mean, shit, maybe you just got superpowers from it.
Bro.
Shit, man. Yeah, shit, man.
Doo-doo, man.
Yeah. Yeah, buddy. Doo-doo, man.
And what's the craziest like NPC moment or like human experience where you just like you saw some people you're like you're not real or like this did not happen. This is not real.
I don't know, dude. I feel like the vast majority of people I run across just feel like NPCs. Like, let's be real.
I feel like
I can't really
most
like
people,
you know like the wacky Fallout NPCs you see that give you
Right.
like the most random quests like
Uh,
shit like that.
I don't know. The only like really like interesting interaction I can really think of with somebody.
Mhm.
To be fair, I didn't interact with them, but like I saw them was when after we graduated, we took like a trip with his family. We went to like California, so we went to San Francisco, LA, Vegas, and then Denver. And so we stopped in San Francisco first, and apparently there's this part of San Francisco called the Tenderloin,
Mhm.
which is like kind of notorious for being a lot of homeless people and just kind of more of a
okay.
sketchier area. And so we pulled up to the hotel that happened to be in that area, and we're sitting in the car right outside the hotel, and this is my very first interaction with California. Was just this man. To be fair, he was homeless and he was probably on drugs. So I feel bad, but it was just like if you could think of like a stereotypical California interaction, it was this. Where he was just outside the hotel door, just screaming at the top of his lungs about like how the price of crack was too high
the crack
Skid Row.
prices.
and how the price of weed was too high, and he was just losing it, and it was just. But he was repeating like the same, like an NPC. He was just repeating the same lines over and over.
Goddamn crack inflation. Goddamn
Yeah.
crack inflation.
And his parents were like freaking out because they're like, "All right, is this a safe area?" Blah blah blah. But that and actually speaking of that reminded me, I went to a Falcons game a few years ago with my dad, and so he took MARTA.
Mhm.
And if you know anything about MARTA,
Yeah.
it's not really the
After a
nicest.
certain time, there's a lot
Yeah.
of
After a certain
Yeah.
time, but this was going to a Falcons game in like the middle of the afternoon, so it's like jam packed, and I'm sitting right by the door, and the door's like here, and there's a dude standing right next to me, and I can just kind of hear him mumbling to himself, and I don't really think anything of it. It's like, oh, it's whatever, Atlanta, Marta, not that crazy. But like it starts getting like louder and louder, and he's like, the snakes, the snakes, the snakes, the snakes, until he's like yelling it in the train about like snakes, and all he's just repeating is the snakes, the snakes, the snakes.
Nah, oh my God.
And I'm just sitting there like freaked out. It's like probably my second time on Marta ever, and I'm just like, what should I do? Because he's directly next to me.
Oh.
So I'm like,
going to die.
Yeah, I'm like, I may fucking die on this Marta. Yeah, he's just screaming about like the snakes, the snakes, the snakes. He's like, and they're coming for us, they're coming for us. And he's just yelling the whole time.
Nah.
And I'm like praying for our stop to just hurry up and come.
No, for real.
Because nobody was doing anything. And I'm like, there's no way nobody's saying anything to this guy.
Like, oh, everyone just act like he wasn't there.
Yeah, like everybody just was fully ignoring him.
That's like the New York shit where like there's someone tweaking on like the subway in New York and everyone just ignores. I'm like, bro, this man's literally like doing like fucking nunchuck fucking jujutsu.
Yeah.
Just like right next to some dude's face and you're just like,
Yeah, exactly. It's literally that. And I was like, I think I would have thought it was funny if he wasn't directly next to me while
that's
he
the
was
type
doing
of
it.
shit you really hate. It's like, what the fucking choose
I'm
me?
like, why of all people does he have to be right next to me? And I remember like going to my dad and be like, yo, this dude's like tweaking. He's like, you'll be all right. I'm like, yeah, you say that until he decides to do something. I don't know, but yeah, those are really the two NPC moments that really come to mind. Like I felt like I was in GTA for a second.
I was the NPC in my NPC. It was really silly.
Nice.
Because
He's like
like,
blank or something.
no, so like, it was more like, imagine being like, it was my art teacher from Brookwood. And basically, my sister and my stepdad got into like a really bad argument. They were like screaming, shouting, yelling, calling each other all types of names and insults. And like, I'm the type of person, when I get stressed, I walk away. Because I just need to clear my head. Like, I cannot, like, I just can't function when I'm in a high stress environment. I really need to, like,
Give your brain space
time to process what the fuck just
think,
happened. Yeah. Because if I'm in the thing, I'm like, I'm more reactionary and I'm
Yeah.
not going to be thinking. I'm just like, okay. So basically, I literally just got up because I slept in like the attic. I literally got up, just walked down my flight of stairs and walked out of my house with no shoes on. And like, this was just like some random like summer afternoon. So it wasn't during like school or anything. So I'm literally just walking. I'm walking towards my school. I'm not even like really thinking about where I'm walking. But like, it's just some random kid in some t-shirt and shorts with no shoes on, bare feet, just walking. And then I see my art teacher going for a jog. He's like, hey, Alfonso.
Yeah.
And he like does a quick one over. Is everything okay? And I'm just like, no. And I just keep walking.
Wow.
Yeah, and then like when I went back to school, like he looked at me, he just never addressed it.
Really?
Yeah.
He didn't even try to call out to you after you just walked away. Like,
I think he might have been like, "You want to talk about it?" And I was just like, "No." I was just this random student in his class, just,
yeah, just barefoot walking,
just straight face,
Yeah.
no emotion.
no emotion.
And then we just never talked. But I always wonder like what he must have been thinking in that moment. It's like, what the fuck am?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I would have been like, what?
Exactly.
The fuck is
Yeah.
going on here?
Yeah. Anything for you, Darren? I feel like you see a lot of NPC shit at the hospital. They're probably
Yeah, I know that. When I went to the
not-
pharmacy too, I got so many weird people, you know. But I got a few funny stories I could tell. So right after I got the catheter piss in my eye, like literally right after, like probably like 30 minutes after, had to go take vitals on this homeless guy who was also on our unit, and we're a nephrology unit, so we mainly deal with like kidney stuff.
Okay.
So everybody like was talking about how much of a dick this guy was. But so far he was like pretty nice to me, and this was like 3 p.m. at this point. So like I only had like 3 hours left on my shift.
Right.
So then, and I think it was like 2:00. Anyway, I was like more than halfway done.
Yeah.
So like throughout the morning, you know, ever since he woke up at like 6 a.m., he was fine. And then all of a sudden I have to wake him up to get his vitals, and he's like fucking tweaking out. For some reason when he first got up, he couldn't see straight. And then I was just like, that's fine. I'm just going to take your vitals. And I start like rolling up his sleeves and putting the cuff on. He's just like, damn it, stop. And he just like gets up out of the bed and like is sitting on the edge of the bed. He's like, like breathing like a fucking animal.
Yeah.
And he's like, don't manhandle me like that, boy. You lost your goddamn mind. I'm just like, hey, bro, let's chill. I'm just taking your vitals. Can I put this on your arm? He's like, no, give me a minute. I'm just like, bro, just let me slip it on. And then I eventually like kind of, he can't see straight. So I just kind of hold him down and I put the thing on. Because I was like really busy at this point. I had like other things to do.
Yeah.
So then I take his blood pressure, right? It was like normal. It was like 123 over 70 something. Like, you were fine.
Yeah.
He wasn't like stressed. Like he didn't like his vitals didn't show that he was super stressed. Then I had to get his like pulse ox on his finger. He refused to give me his finger. He was like, "Give me a minute. Give me 5 minutes." And he's just like like staring off. I'm just like
He just needed time to boot.
I was like, you know what? I need the breather too. It's fine.
Yeah.
After that, so I'm just standing there, my arms crossed, looking at my watch. I'm like waiting for 5 minutes to pass.
Mm-hmm.
And then 5 minutes passes, and I'm like, "Hey, bro, can I have your finger now?" And then he just sticks out his whole hand. I pick one, right? And then I'm just like, God, you tried to swing at me, by the way, too.
Nice,
but like I said, he couldn't
nice.
see straight without his
so he
glasses.
fully missed.
Yeah. But I leave, and like 20 minutes later, the charge nurse comes up to me and is like, "Hey, Darren, we need to bring him down to dialysis." And I was like, "What do you mean? Doesn't transport usually do that?" She's like, "Yeah, well, transport's really backed up right now. So I want you to bring him down there." And then she looks at me and goes, "We need to get rid of him."
Nice.
She and then I was like, I mean, yeah, I just got to do like 2 more things. And then she's like, "Darren, he's going to be down there in dialysis for like 3 or 4 hours. You won't see him for the rest of the day." And I'm like, "Okay, they can wait." So I bring him down there, and like while I'm pushing him out, he's like bitching about every single bump in the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying a bunch of stuff while we're passing by people not being appropriate.
Yeah.
And then I bring him down to dialysis. I just leave him there, bring him hand him the papers, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, there you go." Give like a brief report where I didn't speak too highly of him. And then I went back upstairs, and then like as soon as I get back on the unit, the charge nurse comes up to me and is like, "Darren, I just got a call. He's refusing dialysis." I'm like, "That fucking why? You're
Yeah.
gonna like you literally die. Like he would literally die if he refuses dialysis. So because you'll probably die of like
He has
most
a kidney
likely
center, right?
most people who have kidney damage or like late stage renal failure, they'll die of potassium poisoning in their sleep.
Oh.
It's a painless way to go, but
Yeah,
obviously
but-
we don't want them to die.
Right.
So then the charge nurse is like, "I'm gonna go down there right now and just make him do it." And she comes back up, and I'm like, "So what happened?" And she's like, "Oh, I made him do it."
Nice.
Yeah, what a character. I had like 4 disoriented like dementia patients that day.
Oh, that seems
Sounds
fun.
like a busy day.
Yeah, so like most of my patients did not know I was there or like know who I was. You know what I mean? Like they were not coherent. So they'll say random stuff, and I just have to like go along with it. You know? Because there's no point in just being like, "What are you saying? What are you trying to say?" Like for like
Right.
10
yeah,
minutes.
Just gonna keep.
So I had this one guy, it's like 6 a.m. I'm fresh there. I get his vitals. And then he looks at me and is like, I just have a question about the number 3. I'm like, yeah, like, what do you mean, like the number 3? He's like, the number, the number 3. And I'm like, you mean on the menu, like the number 3? He's like, yeah, like the number 3. And he points at the vitals machine. And I'm like, oh, this alarms feature is just about the parameters, and it lets me know if something is not out of range. And he's like, oh, okay, thank you. And then I come back later after, and he's like, yeah, I have a question about the number 3. It's like the only thing he's repeating.
That's like legitimate broken.
So then I'm like, oh, now you're talking about the channel. You went channel 3. He's like, yeah, like the number 3. So then I put on channel 3 and then I leave.
Are you just making up dialogue?
That's literally what I'm talking about.
she's
You
filling
just have
in-
to make up stuff and they go along with it.
just
It's so
filling
funny.
in the dialogue.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know it's like you can't and be like morally wrong. It'd just be so funny to be like the number 3. It's like, oh yeah, that's our Big Mac. Like just start making like food orders for him. Like, would you
Yeah.
like that?
That's not my job. That's nutrition. But I probably did have that conversation with him. I don't know. When you're at the pharmacy, you get like all kinds of characters though. Everybody's just real antsy or
Yeah.
pissed off because they're sick
Or
or they're
get
crazy.
their drugs.
Yeah. I wanted to save this for like a different episode. But
Well, you can.
I guess I'll tell it. So there is this lady who was kind of infamous among us because she was real weird. One time she came inside the pharmacy and just started yelling at us for no reason. And then she wanted help from one of us. So then one of us had to go out there and everybody volunteered me as tribute because most of the time I'm like the only guy there.
Yeah.
So I go out there and she's like, this candle, I want it in the apple scent.
Your pharmacy. Why the
Yeah,
fuck?
why the
Yeah.
fuck did you go up to the pharmacy for a question about that? And it's like on the one of the end aisles, like where they just put random shit. It's not like anything related
Yeah.
to
Right.
the over the counter
Yeah.
vitamins and stuff. She's like, this comes in apple, and I'm like, I'm confused. I'm like, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, well, what you see is what we got. If you want more, there's more candles on aisle 24. And then she's like, no, I want you to get the apple one. And I'm like, we don't have it. And she just starts yelling at me. I'm just like, okay, well. You can get this. Like she points at this. It's the same color as this, but it's apple. And then I was like, no, but you could always just buy this one. She's like, I don't want that one. And I was like, don't buy it. And I walked away.
Yeah.
I was like, I was so done. And then the same lady comes back like a month or two later, and she went to the hospital because I think she had a heart attack or something going on with her heart, right? So then she's got like a list of medications from the hospital. Because when somebody has heart failure or heart attack, they usually give them like a cocktail of different things to throw at it.
Right.
Thing is, she went to CVS first, and then I guess she pissed off CVS, so they wouldn't fill her medication. So she wanted us to fill them instead and get a transfer. So then, you know, I was like, okay, we'll transfer 8 of these medications, like 4 hours before we close. Okay. I mean, it's feasible. We can do it. So then we call them, they give us all of it, and then I'm like, hey, we have this, and that ready. For like she came back like 3 times, and I'm like, you were here like 20 minutes ago. You got to come back later. Yeah. So she, you know, this is like the 4th time she was here. At our drive-through, by the way.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, yeah, we got all these transferred. They're all ready for you. And then she was like, what does this do? What does that do? What about this one? And I'm like, yeah, well, they're all for either cholesterol, heart, like blood pressure. This one's like she got nitroglycerin for like chest pain.
It's a bomb shit, right?
Huh?
That's what you use for like bombs.
Yeah, you can use it in bombs too. It's funny, but
It's funny that you know that.
Don't worry, don't put me on watch
no,
list.
yeah, it's using explosives too. It's pretty funny. But she's like, I don't want any of that. It's like, I'm in pain right now. I need something for pain. Like I want some like
Fent.
Yeah, she said like Percocet or something. I'm like, you don't have a prescription for that. You
Yeah.
have to contact your doctor, you know? And then
No, just
I
give me the
look
Percs.
back at the paper she gave me, and one of them was tramadol, which is like a light opiate, but it's like a controlled substance, which means you can't transfer it. So then she gets super pissed off, and then she starts yelling at me, and I'm like, hey, I speak to the pharmacist. I'm like, this is like the 4th time I've talked to this lady today. I really don't want to deal with this right now. She's like, you want to like explain to her that she needs to get these and leave? And she goes over there, and then she wants to like see the papers that I just looked at. So then it's at a drive-through, right? She drops the papers like right out of her car. So then the pharmacist, she's like, oh my God, holy shit. And she runs outside and wants to go get him because she's like an old lady, you know what I mean? Like she doesn't want to like get out of her car and like fall or something. So then as she goes under her car to pick up the papers, she hears her change the gear from park to drive.
What?
And then immediately just like gets out and then she drives off. Like she tried to fucking run her over.
What?
Yeah. Like just
This is
kill her.
insane.
Yeah, so then I told my boss the very next day, and then my boss called her and was like, why are you giving my staff trouble? What's wrong? Okay, you're not getting your stuff here like ever again, you know what I mean?
That's why she got kicked out of CVS.
Yeah.
Crazy bitch.
Like, I was,
That is insane. Just trying to run her over, like.
Like you have a heart condition and now you're just choosing violence.
she's very, like, not well. I don't know why she's living on her own.
like bipolar crazy grandma.
Yeah, no, the thing, it's funny though, because this would have been like 5 or 6 months ago. But we like, you know, since then we've had like a bunch of new staff. Like basically everybody there is new. It's kind of weird calling myself like one of the senior techs there.
Yeah.
But I saw one of them typing a prescription and it was for her. And I was just like, where did you get that prescription?
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, this couple dropped it off earlier. And I was like, okay. So then they came and apparently they're her, not children, but
Like grandchildren?
no. That's like an older couple, like a middle-aged couple.
In-laws?
In-laws, yeah, not in-laws.
Like sisters and brothers? Like
I don't know. They said they were the stepchildren, I think,
Oh.
something like that.
Yeah.
But not directly related to her. But I was like, yeah, I took a moment and I was like, yeah, thank you for picking up her medications because she's been here before and she's just been very. I didn't want to say like crazy. I just said like, yeah, sometimes she's very clueless and like doesn't know what she needs to ask. You know what I mean? And we have a hard time working with her. So I'm glad that you're finally taking care of her. It's like what I said. So.
Were they like? Do they like give you like a look of like, yeah, we know?
Yeah.
No, they're just like, oh yeah, thank you. Like, yeah, we do what we can for her. I was like, oh.
Oh shit.
Well, I guess a good thing for her. She's finally getting some help, but that is crazy.
No, fuck that bitch. Because now going back to like, I don't know. You ever heard of Blood Meridian?
Yes,
That's a book, right?
Yeah.
With,
Yeah, I heard of
The Judge.
Yeah. Judge Holden.
Judge Holden. Yeah, so I listened to it again like recently, so like it's really fresh in my mind. But like I was just thinking, like, especially with the homeless guy, like how quickly your life can just turn out once you like hit a set path. And when it came to like him and the old lady, I wonder if like because you have to like realize they were like innocent kids at one point. They were like as innocent. They had innocence in them.
They were like
at
20-year-olds, just like we were.
Yeah.
You know.
And then just along the way, grandma decided running someone over to pick up her paperwork was okay. And then the homeless guy, obviously, there was just a lot of mistakes that led him to that point.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think with like in regards to the grandma, it could just be just old.
She's
old
disoriented,
Disoriented.
yeah.
Yeah. It's
Like-
like just had a heart attack. There's plenty of explanations
Yeah.
for what could be going on.
My question
there.
is, how the fuck is she behind the wheel?
That is very true. Yeah, like what are we doing letting her behind the wheel?
She probably didn't have object permanence. So when she got in the car, she's like, I guess she left. It's time for me to
Yeah.
leave.
Maybe.
That honestly
maybe.
could be the case. Like honestly,
But no, it's just like stuff like that. I'm just like, what happened? Like, because like everyone started out as a child, and then you just kind of morph into
just
this.
life. People have
I don't know.
varying circumstances.
I was
Yeah.
very pissed off that he swung at me.
yeah.
So then
I would be too.
you shouldn't have these thoughts, but like I'm obviously telling myself, I'm like, this is why he's homeless. He has like such a shitty attitude. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
but-
To a degree, I mean, he definitely put it like at a certain point, you do have to blame yourself.
Yeah.
You know, drug abuse, fucked up
I
parents.
mean, you're in a
that's
hospital and you have like no etiquette. And
Yeah.
there's like literal people trying to treat you, and you're refusing medical service that's going to save your life. I don't know.
Awful. I think it's like
that
a
sort of
weird-
reminds me of when I saw Blade with
the
Mason.
musician, not the movie, right? Okay.
The music, yeah, with
Bleedy?
Blady. But I saw well, it was Drain Gang, so it was like their whole collective. But I went with Mason
Mm-hmm.
and one of his friends. And I remember afterwards we were waiting behind. This was in 5 Points, so we're waiting behind the venue to see him when he comes out, like say what's up, try to get a pic or whatever. And while we're waiting, we're all like pretty thirsty. So we're like, hey, we want to get a drink. And right down the road, there's like a gas station.
Mm-hmm.
So we walk down the gas station, and at this point, it's probably 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. So it's pretty late. And there's like a bunch of other people walking at the same time from the same spot. So I'm not really thinking too much of it. And then I see a few people kind of hesitate, but then they get in the store or whatever. And then I realize there's this guy out there who's, if I remember correctly, he was like shirtless, but I vividly remember he was bald with tattoos all over his head and face that looked like scribbles. It looked like a child got a marker and drew all
Just
over
drew
them.
on his shit.
Call of
And-
Duty face camo.
Literally, like it was bad. And he just had this he had a banjo that was like
Fire.
broken.
Fire.
So it was like a broken banjo just hanging on by like the strings. And then he had like this sort of like notebook thing that had like pictures in it that like
He's a musician.
that he drew.
He's a musician.
Well, he was tweaking though, but he was like freaking out. And everybody that passed by, he's like, "Yo, buy my art, buy my art, buy my art." And so me and Mason, obviously, we don't want to deal with it. So we're like trying to go inside. Mason's friend was like, "Oh no," because he was like from DC, and he was like, "Yeah, like there's a lot of these guys in DC. Like I know how to handle them, blah blah blah." So he starts talking to the guy, and they're like making conversation. He's like, "Oh, I like your art, blah blah blah," and the dude's like, "Thanks, buy it, buy it." He's like trying to get him to buy the art. And eventually, like me and Mason go, like we already bought our drinks, we're about to trying to leave, and he's still talking to the guy. And eventually, Mason's friend was like, "Oh yeah, I'm not buying the art, by the way." And the dude loses it. Like, I mean, gets like this is the only time I've ever been in a situation where I thought ooh, it was gonna be like a physical altercation.
Ooh.
Like he was like very antagonistic, and like the whole vibe just shifted. Like he was super pissed. So me and Mason are like freaked out. Like, yo, let's just go. So
Yeah.
we're like walking back, and while we're walking back, the way the gas station's set up is that it's like there's got the station, and then there's like the pumps,
Mm-hmm.
and then behind the pumps there's like a few parking spots and like up against the wall, and it's like pretty dark. There's not really any lighting on it,
Mm-hmm.
and there's like one like kind of big like Escalade almost that's like backed in, with super tinted windows, can't see anything, and we're like walk by it, and the dude I like obviously can't even tell anybody's in there, but the window rolls down where we walk by it, and the dude's like pops his head out. He's like, "Don't ever fucking talk to him again." And we're like, okay, and we just fucking like book it out of there. It was like the weirdest interaction I've ever had.
So like an unrelated person talked to you about the artist, dude.
But yeah, like I mean,
That would have freaked me the fuck out.
like I don't know if it was unrelated, but he legitimately like very clearly threatening, where he was like, "Don't talk to him ever again," or something like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "What are you doing? Don't talk to him." And
Yeah,
it's
that's
like in a
weird as
very
fuck.
threatening tone.
Yeah, that's weird
While
as
he's
fuck.
parked in a car, like in the
corner,
shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were
Just
like
watching all this unfold. And
yeah,
Like,
we were like pretty freaked out, like, and we just kind of just like got out as
Nah,
fast
that's
as possible.
nah,
It was a very weird interaction, But it's just like, how do I end up in these situations?
Yeah, no, dude, that felt very surreal.
Yeah, like it was, especially in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
Where it's
like a
kinda
fever
like-
dream. Like, what the fuck? Why?
Yeah, like.
Don't talk to him again. Rolls back up his
Yeah, he
window.
literally rolled his window back up, and we're like, okay, we won't, and we just walked. We got like speed walked out of
Yeah,
there.
like, we're getting the fuck
Yeah.
out of here, bro.
Thankfully, the venue was like only literally just right down the road, so it's super close. So we
Okay.
went back to the venue and we just chilled there for a bit, and we were like, what did we just like? What the fuck just happened? Like,
Yeah, no.
it was very
Could not do
interesting.
What about you, Martin? Any like weird characters you tried to like sell stuff to?
So stuff too.
There's this one time that I was knocking on doors, and this one guy came out, and he came out drunk.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
Wasn't I there for that?
No, I was with my nephew though.
Middle of the
okay.
day
So it's
drunk
recent.
is the crazy
recent.
drunk.
So sad. It's a
Yeah.
sad drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to tell him I was up, but couldn't really communicate what was going on. There's another time, this is earlier, where I sold to an animator
Mm-hmm.
that he animated for, like, he did an adult animation for, like, Adult Swim.
Okay.
Yeah. It was, like, older Adult Swim stuff. Forgot. It was, like, the one with the mouse.
Some
That
mouse
one
adult.
show.
I'm not sure.
It's like an Adult Swim mouse. It's not
I'm not sure.
Mickey.
But I guess kind of going off that, 'cause I think he just got called, but that sort of reminds me with like the working and going to people's houses. I'm pretty sure, and I know he's not here to confirm it, but John told me, I'm sure he might have told you guys, he was working on an old man's AC unit, and there was one unit in like a room that was just a bunch of like Nazi memorabilia. Do you remember anything about
He
that?
never told me about that.
Really?
No, I didn't
Fuck.
hear about that.
You really?
No,
No.
wait, that's fucking crazy.
I feel like he would have brought that up.
I remember him
Surprised he
telling me
hasn't.
last time I was here, because he was like, yeah, it was just, he was like, he had like multiple units, and there's like one unit in a room.
Wait,
that
what
he
were
went-
the unit? Like the units for like the rooms?
It was like, yeah, there was like specific like AC units that were like in like
Okay.
rooms in the house. And I guess the guy had like a decent house or whatever, but he like went to this room and it was just Nazi memorabilia in the room. I don't want to say like that's for sure what happened, but I've like almost vividly remember
he
him
might have
telling me
mentioned
that.
something about war. So I don't know. I'm trying to remember.
I just
An
remember
old
thinking
dude
like
with a
that is
unit in his
crazy
room.
because he's like an older dude too. So it could just be he has like a history buff.
Yeah, it could be.
But
it
I
could
think
be.
it's very interesting to only have a
or maybe it
room
was
with
his grandfather's. But even then, that's weird.
yeah, just to have a room with like
Your grandpa's into like Nazi stuff.
yeah.
It's a little.
I mean, just like I can't even imagine being in John's shoes and you just open up the door to this room. And it's just
no, that's
the
so
Nazi
crazy.
flag
Imagine just
and
being like a
all.
white guy and you just like, oh,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
Nazi.
Like that is insane. I'm like, yo, okay.
It's, like, it's literally the episode of Family Guy where
yes, with Chris went to
yeah,
that dude's
Chris goes
house.
in, yeah.
yeah, I know what episode you're talking
God,
about.
yeah. And then Herbert had to save him.
Yeah. That is
Dude.
interesting. And these people walk among us, like.
Yeah, they're the real life like
You-
fucking daywalkers.
Yeah, exactly. Like you would just see this dude and never expect, hey, yeah, he has a room full of.
I just think about
Nazi
that. It's like
memorabilia.
you don't know what goes on in people's personal lives. You
Yeah.
pass them like at Walmart or something. Like you could be like standing in line at Home Depot and like the dude behind you just looked like the fattest shit on his wife before he left.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
have no
you just
idea.
don't know.
You have no idea.
I'm gonna search up the statistics on serial killers. Like chances you're around.
And to you, it just seems like he's the nicest guy ever. But he just got back from taking a little load on his wife's his wife's chest.
His wife wanted to grow more hair.
Yeah, that true.
Man,
Give me the number. So it's pretty big. It's 3,328,000. So not that crazy.
I had a
I
friend
mean-
in high school who his family's German, right? But I think he's like a third generation immigrant. So his grandparents were like German.
Person, yeah.
They brought their furniture over from Europe, I guess, because he has a table or like a cupboard or something in his house that has a Nazi like swastika engraved on there.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
they have it turned the other way so people don't see it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess the wood is just really good,
Yeah.
so they keep it. They have like other things with a swastika on it because it's from that time period. But I mean, I don't know.
That's crazy.
I guess it's got some value to him.
Yeah.
His last name also translates to hate symbol too, which that was funny.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
that's actually
hilarious.
okay. The more I was reading to the serial killer thing, like, okay, so I guess it makes more sense. But you know, like, to be a serial killer means you have to kill multiple people.
Yeah.
Most people are like a one and done type of murderer. So like, for someone to like have a hunger to keep killing people is actually really low. And so
Yeah, but even like with the serial killer, like what cons? Like how many? Is it just like you are killing
more than two.
More than two, and it's just over a stretch of months or
like
years.
serial killer means you just killed three people. It's a serial just means a series of people have died by your
Yeah,
hands.
but like like, would you say like somebody like in a gang shootout killed 2 people? Would you call him a
Organized
serial killer?
crime.
It's just different because it's organized.
I guess
crime?
technically, because King Von was a serial killer. He was,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but I think the thing is with serial killers though is that the murders go unfound
yeah.
until a certain point. You can't like kill somebody, go to prison, kill another person, go back to prison. That doesn't make you a serial killer. You know what I mean?
I see. Just you saying.
That's what I
Like,
always thought. There's like there has to
Serial
like,
killer is like you have a chain of people that you have killed and nobody's ever found out.
yeah, like when I think of serial killer, I think of like Jeffrey Dahmer or
Exactly,
somebody
yeah.
along those lines. Like I guess you could constitute King Von as a serial killer, but like
I mean, because he
I
did kill a
don't-
lot of people without getting caught for it.
yeah, but like I wouldn't like think of him as like because like in another way, I think serial killers are people that also kill innocent people. Whereas like King Von, I'm not saying he didn't kill not innocent people, but like
Okay.
a lot of them are gang related shootings or whatever.
Serial
you know?
killer is a mental thing. So it's 3 or more people over a period of time
Right.
with intervals between killing. It's an app. Basically, they describe it as like driven by a psychological need or thrill rather than a specific motive. So gang violence is a specific motive.
Yeah,
Or,
so
like
you wouldn't
vendetta is like
constitute-
vengeance. You can't just kill 30 people because they like took a shit in your wife's chest. You can't do that. But like if you're like a truck driver and you just see like this random woman walking on the road, you're like I need to murder her and eat her flesh, and then you
Then
do
that
that,
is a serial
and then you
killer,
do that, and you do
100%.
that 3 times.
Yeah, then hey, yeah, I guess you're a serial killer.
You're a serial
You
killer.
probably get away with it too because like 95 or something % of murders are traced back to like a connection you had with them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
if you-
random killings are really hard to find.
Yeah.
And then there was another thing I read is let's see. There's only, at least according to Reddit 6 years ago, there's only 32 to 50 active serial. Like there's like 50 total active people that are just out there hunting people.
And that is still a scary number
Yeah,
to think
50
of.
people are just
That's
hunting
one
people
per state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is pretty
It's like a
like that's a
human
terrifying
hunter.
thought.
Yeah, it's
to
a
think of.
human
And that's
hunter.
6 years ago, so the number could have.
Dude, there's
Yeah.
that dude in Atlanta who just put bodies and beat them apart. Remember that?
Yes.
Wasn't
Yeah.
that was like a few years ago,
Yeah, that's what I'm
right?
saying. Yeah, that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was not that long ago. I remember that.
Yeah, it's actually really crazy. But like, it's really hard to imagine like a human hunter, which is so weird to like. That's what a serial killer is. You're a human hunter.
I mean, yeah.
Nah, I don't know.
Well, sort of. I think it depends too, because like different serial killers have like different MOs. Like you have somebody
the main
like
thing is just 3 people, period of time. That's basically what hunting
like
is. though.
hunting but like hunting's more like you're stalking your target for like it could be
More
days,
Dead by Daylight
weeks,
shit, yeah, I
whatever.
I guess it's just like hunting because a lot of serial killers also have like types. Like
Yeah,
types they like
that's
to
true.
kill.
Especially like brown hair
True.
or like women.
But
with, like,
also,
a
it could just
sprinkle
be
in them.
some. There are literally serial killers that are just moment of
Yeah,
opportunity, like
yeah.
Night Stalker. He would
Yes,
just go
that
to
was that
random
one.
houses if their window was unlocked. He'd go in and
then
just kill everybody.
The most infamous was that black guy. It was like Charles Little or something. He just killed 50 random people. He was just like, well, they were there at the wrong time.
yeah, like
Yeah.
So I guess it's like I really just think it depends on who that person is. If it's like a human hunter or not, because some are just like, oh, this is person. I can just get away with it.
Well,
Are bounty hunters still a thing?
I don't know.
I mean, I know there's mercenaries are still a thing. So I would have
Well, yeah,
to
but
assume.
they're
but
hired-
mercenaries aren't this.
They're
Like
not bounty
mercenaries
hunters.
work with militaries,
Yeah.
whereas bounty hunters are like the police hire these people to
Then
like
yeah, no, no.
wanted criminals to bring them in.
I mean,
It's-
yeah, I feel like the CIA would have bounty hunters. Like people that they like, but people that literally they could just break the law and they're not really tied to the government, so they can just kind of go into any foreign body and then just whack a dude.
Oh,
I don't even think they kill them. It's usually like
Yeah.
this is such a dumb example, but like the only famous bounty hunter I can think of that's not fictional is Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Doug?
Dog?
Dog.
You never seen that show? I'm pretty sure it's Dog,
it
right?
real?
Dog the Bounty
I
Hunter.
remember-
I've never seen it.
Dog the
I want to say that's the title, but it was like a television show. That
Dwayne? What was the name? Dog.
Let me see.
Dwayne Chapman?
Yeah, that's his. But I'm pretty sure the show title's called like Dog the Bounty Hunter, maybe.
Let me see what I got TV shows. Yeah, Dog the Bounty
Yeah,
Hunter.
so
from
Dog the Bounty
2004
Hunter.
2012.
Yeah. So that show ran for years, and that's like the only. But he wasn't like killing these criminals. It was a lot of cases where like he was getting paid, like he wasn't a police officer, but he worked with them and had like permission to go and arrest these people. And it usually wasn't like they weren't like serious crimes for the most part. It'd be people that were like
pedophiles and stuff.
I mean, I the ones I can really remember, like usually they're like they broke their bond or like whatever, like broke parole. or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah,
So he would go
yeah,
get
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah,
I do
gotcha.
actually remember seeing some like a clip on TikTok of a podcast episode from a guy that was ex-military, that was a bounty hunter, and he said it was usually the same thing, but like I think his was more extreme, or I think one of the cases he talked about was like them getting like a pretty high level gang member. But yeah, it's usually like they're not hunting these people down. Like it's not thinking like Red Dead Redemption where it's like I have a bounty, dead or alive.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
I'm like,
because that's what I think of too. But it's usually like they just go and we'll just go and just arrest these people themselves and just bring them to the police. It's typically how it is.
I don't know, hunting people. Cause I mean, I'm going back to I know the most. Let me say is it Charles Little? I don't want to say.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah,
I want to say that.
yeah.
Sounds
Charles, like, he died recently in death row, but like he actually hunted people, like, cause he had a document. He was just like, yeah, I would just like see someone who would like just like shoot. It would just be like a person who just looked a little like out from the crowd, like, and then he would just like stalk them. He would just, I don't know, just follow them. Right, like, he hunted over like 50. I'm like, it's like, at a certain point, you're like, that's just crazy. Like, there are people that are like that in tune for like an animal.
Yeah,
That you just prey on people.
and it's crazy because a lot of them, if you like, I'm not really big into looking up like true crime and like serial killers. It just kind of like freaks me out more than anything. But like the stuff I have looked into, a lot of them have very similar backgrounds. Where it's a broken home.
Yeah, his mom was a
abused.
prostitute.
Yeah, they were abused when they were kids. So it's like
sexually abused is like a
yeah,
really common.
that's
thread, too.
most
Samuel
common.
Little, not Charles, was Samuel Little.
Yeah, but it's just like it's just sad to think where it's like they were basically screwed from the start. Like there are people out there that are just born with something off in their brain, like
Yes.
something.
You know about Jeffrey Dahmer's brain?
No, it was like cremated, right?
Yeah, after they died, scientists from like some certain university wanted to study his brain, and they needed the parents' consent to get his brain.
Yeah.
The father was like,
the dad.
absolutely, they should take his brain, study it. They could see what makes people like this tick.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's avoidable, maybe it's preventable. And then the mom was like, no, I just want to move on. Like,
yeah, which is crazy because like low key when I heard that, I thought I was like the mom probably dropped him or something. It's probably like I don't want to blame the
mom was on a shit ton of pharmaceuticals when she was
The
pregnant.
mom
with him.
probably did some either like mercury,
Yeah,
like the
that
mom
could-
probably like no, they're gonna say something was wrong with me and it was my fault that all these people died. That's probably why she wanted to clean up
Yeah,
the
it
evidence.
probably just they just didn't know the ramifications of like some pharmaceutical she was on back
Yeah.
in the day. But she was on a lot of pills apparently when she was pregnant with him.
Yeah. It's just scary.
She was
but-
she was very crazy, apparently, like bipolar.
yeah,
But
yeah, she
it's very
gave
common.
birth
It's
to like a demon.
yeah, and then
just messed up childhood.
but she was arguing. She was like
Did he become
we
like
should-
Christian
let's-
before he
let's
died
just
too?
bury this all, right now. Just get rid of his brain.
No, figure out what the fuck
Yeah,
went
that's what I'm
wrong.
saying.
Yeah.
But they brought it to court, and the court ruled in favor of the mom, so they burned the brain with the rest of the body. Oh no, they cremated they cremated the body, I think, but they kept the brain, and then the mom was pissed off because they took the brain out without consent. I don't know, but the father was like on board with it. But
Yeah.
They should have looked at
That's
his brain.
sort of unfortunate
Fuck
because
the
I mean
mom.
that could have been.
Yeah, they
Been a
could have
cool study.
Yeah, exactly. It's just crazy too because it's like, but for him, right, where you're saying his mom was on pharmaceuticals, it's
Yeah.
like something where there's just other people. I remember seeing this one video of this. He was like a teenager, who basically the story kind of falls into where there was this homeless guy, but he was like a affable guy, like everybody in the community knew him. It was like a smaller community, and they knew him. And he used to go and help at this one place.
The homeless guy.
The homeless guy. He would go and help at this one place pretty often, and he didn't show up one time. And the lady that like kind of worked there, was kind of freaking out because she couldn't get in contact with him.
Because it was routine and now he broke routine.
Yeah, and now he broke routine. He was like, he was always here and he hasn't showed up, and that's very uncommon.
Yeah.
So they call the police, and things lead up to where they eventually find him. His body has been torn up, ripped to shreds, whatever, missing head, missing his hand, like decapitated under the bridge. It kind of leads to where there's this one kid where his mom was cleaning his room and basically found his head and hands, whatever, in a plastic bag, in a
In her
trash bag,
son's room?
in her son's room.
What do you do as like the parent?
Well, she freaked out, obviously. Like,
Dude, what the fuck?
yeah, she called the cops and like, it's like one of those YouTube channels where it's like they get all the dash cam, like the cam footage.
Oh, okay, I thought this was like from like the 70s or something.
No,
like,
no. This was like a few
Yeah,
years
I
ago.
love watching those.
Yeah. So they had
Whoa.
like all that footage, and they have like the call and everything, and like obviously his mom's very distraught because
Yeah,
she's.
my son's a serial
How old was the
killer.
kid?
He was a teenager at the time, and
Like under 17. Under 17. That's
they had story where they had talked about, and it's another common case where when he was a kid, they had liked to abuse animals, things like that.
mom
like-
saw it.
But like when you're and obviously I don't know, you don't know too much about his family life, but his family seemed like normal, good parents. His brother's normal, his brother's fine.
Yeah.
And like it just kind of makes me think, because like they eventually they confront the kid because his parents have him waiting for the cops to come get him, and they're like, we found something, and he immediately like flips, like because he's talking before sort of like fine whatever, and he just flips,
it gets cold.
and like it's kind of like it's so goofy to watch too, because you can tell he's trying to put on like an act almost. Where he's like, did you find the head and hands or whatever? Like just flips on a dime. And then they have like the whole interview with him, and he's just bragging about it, where he's like,
Oh yeah, it's illegal. I've heard like serial killers like they really love it's because like it's weird, but like when you kill a person, like that's like you literally just took a 1v1 in real life.
There's something wrong with them where they just don't feel empathy.
yeah, like he felt no
Like-
empathy for this guy. Like
Well,
he,
It's like a
At
project.
least
Yeah.
on crime shows, they make it almost like it's like they do it as a mark of like pride. And when you make fun of the killer after they killed someone, or like you get the details wrong, they get offended by
Yeah.
it. Type shit. It's like no,
It's like
I-
watching the HR butcher your racist joke. You know?
Yeah.
well, you could very clearly tell that this dude wanted to be known
For doing
for
that.
doing this. Like he had it all planned out, whatever, and he's literally like taking the investigators, like the detectives, whatever, that are interviewing him, like step by step of what he did, everything, and he's going like full detail, and he's like proud of it, like he's laughing and smiling while he's telling it, and it's like how does like
Her pussy was using mercury and WD-40.
how do you get like this? Like, how does your brain like? It legit seems like it's just something mentally where it's like there's just something off in his brain, and it's just so like.
You know those people that joke
Interesting.
about life being a simulation? I think people who like do shit like that, you really have to believe life is like there's no God, there's no nothing, there's
Yeah,
no morale.
like-
It's just like you do whatever the fuck you want while you're breathing.
I don't even think like maybe for like somebody like us where we feel empathy for people and we know it's like yeah, I don't have any desire to ever do that.
Yeah.
Where these people, they don't have any of that. Like I don't even think it's like they have to think like, oh, it's a simulation.
You know,
they just
like,
legit feel no
you have an inner
sort of
monologue?
empathy. Yeah.
60% of people do, 40% don't.
So that
going-
40% kind of blows my mind. You're like, how do you talk to yourself? You know,
Basically,
how do you,
instead of like the verbal thoughts, they feel it. So, you know those people who get like sick, throw up, and get anxiety? That's their body. Like that, you know, your voice usually makes you feel anxious when you're like, oh my God, what the fuck, and you're talking to yourself. Their body just physically reacts to it. At least that's what one person
That
gave
still
an
feels like
example
a high
of.
number.
but
yeah.
what is causing the anxiety though? If nothing.
It's physiological because like you understand like
No, but you would think
you
that
have a
people.
subconscious
You,
still.
you would think that people who have the inner monologue would feel more anxiety.
Yeah, that's
because
what I was-
It's almost like you're
kinda
talking it
gaslight
out, though.
themselves. I mean, yeah, I
you're
guess.
talking it out instead of like imagine like never because like we need to survive. You need to know something is wrong. So if your brain isn't telling you something's wrong, your body has to tell you something's wrong. And so that's like that same kind of voice. Like I don't want
How
to.
do you read if you don't have an inner voice? You know?
Yeah.
Do you guys think about that?
I think it's just like a one-way thing. You're just beaming that shit straight into like you know how you just
Yeah, but if you could hear it in your head and you're
'Cause
thinking.
that's how you
when
read,
you
right?
speed read, you're just
Yeah,
kind
when I
of like
read,
just
I
processing the
lit-
information. Like when
Yeah.
someone talks to you, you just kind of take
But
it
I'm
in.
still saying it in my head when I'm reading it.
yeah,
you know?
I do too.
I guess when you talk, do you really like, repeat the words back with the person that says you just kind of take it in, right?
Well, I mean, yeah,
Well,
but
yeah, so I guess it would be the same thing. You literally just like when you're
I don't know,
reading
it's
the
just
words,
hard
they
to
it's
think
different with
about-
inner monologue because you
Yeah.
have to be both the speaker and listener simultaneously.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that.
It's just kind of.
I just don't know how you think. Like
It's hard to imagine as somebody that can't think.
that's literally saying you don't think. I don't
Yeah.
know.
But they function fine. They're actually like there's
blows my mind.
Yeah.
I know, and that also feels like the 40% feels kind of high because I feel like most people I know
60-40.
like have inner monologues.
But like there's 8 billion people, so you have to like when
True.
you really get into like the
Those
the
40%
weeds of
are
it.
literally NPCs. The NPCs we talked
Yeah,
about
so the
earlier.
NPCs we talked about earlier
That's
are
where
the
those
ones
people
with
that do
no
like those
monologue.
pranks where they just like Gideon probably does have an inner monologue when he like does their pranks where he just says crazy shit to people.
Have you seen Gideon when he's not doing pranks though? Like he's kind of profound when he speaks sometimes.
No, I actually haven't.
No, he's been like this super big like religious kick. So he'll just talk in front of a camera about how much he loves God and how he's thankful. And I'm just like, you know, you wouldn't expect that from
Yeah.
the guy who does. He deleted all of his pranks. You
No,
know, on
I
YouTube.
think he just did he talked to the KKK guy again in
Well,
Little
that
Rock,
wasn't a
Arkansas.
prank.
Yeah,
That
he
was
did
a-
a prank,
that
like,
was-
he just, like,
that
actually
wasn't a
talks with
prank.
him.
It was like a
Oh.
little vlog, I guess.
Yeah.
Vlog, documentary.
Almost like
That was a wholesome video though.
yeah, it's
It
kind of like
was.
the iDubbbz things where
Well, IDubbbz went a weird direction.
where
didn't he?
I know it's not the same
I
because
just
he's not
fucking
like the
flipped on a dime. Like
it's like
got
the
some
content stuff
OnlyFans
where he would
girls
like
pussy
actually go
and
to these
change.
people like Airsoft Fatty.
Who's Airsoft?
I know him.
You know,
Like
you never seen him?
Lolcow.
I know Loaf.
He's a lolcow.
What's a lol cow?
Oh my god,
Somebody
Chris
online
Chan.
that just exists to be made fun of. Like
Yeah.
Chris Chan, Boogie.
Okay.
Chris Chan and Boogie are the two like most
Okay, I
popular.
know. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
or Wings of Redemption. I think.
Sneeko?
Yeah, Wings of
I think
Redemption.
Wings of Redemption is my favorite one.
Sneeko is like on like
He's teetering on the edge. The thing with like
the thing is the difference between Boogie. Well, I guess Boogie has this too, but the difference between like Chris Chan and Sneeko is that Sneeko unironically has people that follow him.
yeah,
And Chris Chan really doesn't.
Okay.
like the people that, and honestly, I don't know if anybody could really say after the recent events from a few years ago as like a Chris Chan fan.
Chris Chan's out of prison.
Yeah, he's out.
And
Yeah.
he just
Fuck this mom, dude. That's crazy.
I still remember the day I found out at Your Pie with John, and we were freaking out
Yeah.
because
That was
we
like-
used
that
to
was
talk about it
literally-
all the time.
Yeah, that was literally like after we dropped the documentary too.
Yeah, like
It's just more lore.
insane. Yeah, Chris Chan is one of the most interesting humans to have ever existed.
I think if aliens were to like look at like the human documentary, he's the most documented.
Yeah, I was gonna say
human.
like he has to be the most
Because he's
documented
grown
human.
up simultaneously with the internet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know?
and I
People
honestly
know what fucking preschool he went to. You
Yeah,
know?
it's crazy.
People know about an altered like a sexual assault thing between him and his principal. Like, how the fuck do you get that like in deep?
level
Yeah,
of
well,
depth
the,
of, like,
the
someone's
big thing
life.
with Christian that I think almost separates him from other locales is the trolls, because it's like there's other locales and they'll have trolls occasionally or whatever, but you don't really hear about them too much. Whereas Christian, almost like a big part of his whole like history and lore, are the trolls. Like
Liquid
they're-
Chris.
Liquid Chris, like they're almost as popular, if not like Liquid Chris is way more popular in a way like within people that like know anything about him than Christian himself. Because like I mean nobody likes Chris. He's just
But
kinda,
look, because this guy copying him, right?
Liquid Chris is the guy that claimed he was the real Christian,
Like the Alpha Chris.
the Alpha Chris.
Like Chris Prime. He was
Oh
like,
my
he was like
God.
somewhat good looking. He had a girlfriend, and he would like pretend to be Chris Chan online, and then Chris Chan would be like, "No, this is not me.
Yeah.
You need to take this down, you imposter."
Well, wasn't like didn't he basically come out from like the the rapper contest thing where like they had to like make a whole like song or whatever?
Wasn't it Liquid Chris
And Liquid
that started
Chris-
the Autism Asperger's war too?
I don't
What?
remember.
That was just a sentence that came out of my mouth, but yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't remember too much. I've tried to like not look at much Christian stuff just because it's kind of like, but I think my favorite story of Christian though was because a big part of his early lore was that he wanted a girlfriend. Like that was a
Yes, yeah,
huge
yeah.
part was that he wanted a girl, and trolls would always mess with him and pretend to be girls or they were girls themselves that would like
Tease him.
tease him and like, oh, we have a relationship, blah, blah, blah. Well, there was one girl that actually went through on going on a date with him at the mall.
Yeah, they went to a mall. Yeah, I know what you're
And-
talking about.
Yeah, so they went to the mall, and so...
I know what you're gonna bring.
yes, it's so good. It's my favorite story ever. Oh my God. I'm like, okay. So they're on a date, it's like whatever. And eventually, they're at the food court eating, and this man in a pickle costume walks up.
The pickle man.
The pickle man, yeah. This man in a pickle suit comes up and just steals the girl from him.
What?
Yeah.
And she's like, he like comes up, whatever, and just takes her, and they're like start walking like hand in hand away. So Chris goes online and is and is like having a freak out online about this situation, and he says, "The man in the pickle suit stole my girlfriend."
Yeah, and the pickle man was like infamous in all of Chris's because Chris would always do like these self inserts because he his Sonichu comics. He would self insert himself into all that, and then he'd be like the antagonist for a bunch of his issues. The fucking
Yeah.
pickle guy after that.
Someone came in costume to antagonize him
Yeah.
for real. Oh my
yeah,
god.
like
Yeah, the
legitimately.
real life supervillain.
It was that is one of the funniest stories, or the one where I'm pretty sure it was there's like this game store he used to go to a lot.
GameStop?
No, it was like actual board game place.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
like, yeah.
okay.
So he'd go there all the time, and he had a lot of issues with the management. For obvious reason, it's Christian. So he'd had issues with the management, and there was this girl who was probably the only person that's been documented to like have actually had wanted to be friends with him, like trying
Okay, like true to reach out.
until he drew a comic of him.
Yeah, they were having sex on the comic.
Yeah.
He self inserted them.
He self-inserted that,
And then she was like,
found
"Bro, this
out
is
and was
fucking
like,
weird."
yeah, it's like, hey, I don't want to be friends with you. That made me very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And they used to go to that store a lot. But I forget what happened, but pretty much after that, it kind of went downhill at that store for him. And he got kicked out with his mom. And his mom ran over the owner with her car.
Yo,
Like straight up
this
just
man was
ran him over.
crazy.
Yes.
I didn't know about that. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Mom
like
got
hit
it
him.
back in blood.
She
like-
get arrested?
Yes. like straight up hit him, and he was like obviously permanently banned.
Was that after the dad passed away?
I cannot remember. I can't remember if it was before or after.
Mama's a D1
But I
crash
do.
out.
It could have been before, but like also at the end of his life, he was out of it. Like he was not on Earth, so it could have been before. But there's just so much lore that, and it's always funny. Anytime I talk about it, there's like more pieces that I forgot.
I learn something every new. I talk about. I learn something every time. I learn something new every time I talk about Christianity with someone. Like
It's.
There's
There's so much. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's literally like how many parts is the Geno Samuel documentary now?
dude, they're like fucking hour to 2 hour long episodes,
like
there's
80 episodes,
80,
right?
And they're all on spot. You can listen to it like a podcast.
Yeah, it's
you know?
insane. Like how much there is. It's just.
Yeah, it's
But and like in a way, I feel bad for him because it's like his parents were older and had no idea how to handle a child with autism. And basically,
was that their first child ever?
No, so they had. I don't know about his mom.
Wait, he's a sibling.
He has. I think they're like step siblings.
Oh.
Okay.
Or half siblings, not step, like half siblings. Where I'm pretty sure it's his.
Dad
So his
has-
dad was much older than his mom by like 20 years or something like that. And I'm pretty sure his dad had children from a previous marriage that were a lot older, like way older. They weren't
Okay.
really a part of his life. But like they were old, had no idea. And I'm pretty sure, I think that's his mom's only kid, if I remember correctly. So she spoiled him heavily, and they just didn't know how to handle a child with autism. So they kind of let him get away with whatever he want with no filter to the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, his mom paid girls in high school to be friends with him. Like he had like these group of girls that were friends with him. And he called his gal pals, and every single one of them had been paid by his mom to be his friend. And then the second he graduated, never talked to him again. Like it's just he had a lot of messed up stuff. So I feel bad for him, but in a way, when he like the older he got, like people try to help him, and he just kind of was.
No, okay, look, let's be
In La La
honest.
Land.
It was the same thing with, like, we'll go back to the homeless guy, and, like, Blood Meridian. Once you kind of curate a lifestyle past, like,
Yeah.
puberty, that's it. That's who
Yeah,
you are.
he was basically screwed.
Yeah, like, his parents kind of fucked him up, because, like, it's damn near impossible. Like, we kind of follow the law of, like, inertia. Once you're kind of there, you're not going to move unless something makes you move. And, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And
Like,
you're,
and I
It's
think
hard
it's
to break bad
and
habits.
Yeah.
especially for somebody with autism, where it's like habits are like keys for their lives.
yes.
It's you're not gonna really break.
Your life.
Yeah, exactly. Like he
You
was
built your
basically-
entire being upon this,
Yeah.
like, pillar.
It's just so interesting. His whole life, and then Wings of Redemption, that we mentioned earlier. I think he's one of my favorites.
He's just a fat guy, right?
he's just a fat guy.
He's just miserable. He's
He's
got
just-
nothing wrong in the head. He's just miserable.
Yeah, he's not autistic, nothing wrong. He is just a miserable human, and that's why I think I enjoy laughing at him more, just because he doesn't to himself. He used to be really big in Call of Duty, especially Modern Warfare, the first one. He was kind of big in the multiplayer scene.
Like, pro?
He wasn't a pro, I don't think.
Just like
He
more like a-
basically just like pub stomps,
Pub
and they
stomps,
did like,
yeah.
like funny little montages of him backing
Okay.
people. And
So he
stuff
was
like
really
that.
big back in the day, and then it kind of. I don't remember the full story. I don't know as much about his like backstory as I do kind of like Christian.
Mm-hmm.
But it's at the point now where he streams, like streaming is his full-time job, but
Okay.
he despises it. Like he hates the people that watch him. He hates streaming. He hates like the games he plays. So basically his entire stream is him on there with trolls fucking with him while he plays a game that he hates. And
He
he's
just shrugs off the bad compliments.
yeah. Like any
Squidward at the
compliment, he's
Krusty
like,
Krab.
oh, whatever, man.
He has a podcast with Boogie actually.
Yeah, called Lolcow
like,
Podcast.
Yeah, so Keemstar noticed that both of them were kind of losing money and falling off, and Keemstar was like, had a bright idea. He was like, I can make money off this. So he got two. Is there a third person on there, or was it just them three?
I think it's just them three.
Yeah,
as far as I
so
know.
he got Boogie and Rings of Redemption together and was like, guys, listen, you guys are losing money. Boogie's gonna be fucking homeless soon. I know you're miserable with what you do. Hear me out. We can start a podcast. And trust me, it will rake in dough. And it's literally just Wings and Keemstar shitting on Boogie for like a whole hour.
No!
Yeah, that's every single episode.
Boogie's the bitch in the group?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, because Boogie, I
course
think
Boogie
Boogie
is.
is genuinely a awful human. Like
I think he has a humiliation fetish.
So
He might,
Wings of
honestly.
Redemption is just like a Squidward at the Krusty Krab.
Squid, yeah, he's like he's also kind of an asshole, but he's just more of a miserable human. Like he's just miserable. Like he hates everything about his life.
Okay.
But he's not like. I can't really think. I'm sure there could be things, but I don't know. As I said, I don't know too much
He's
about
not
his
overly
lore.
antagonistic.
Well, I can't think of anything bad he's really done specifically to other people, whereas Boogie has like actively done shitty things to other
Is
people.
Boogie the one with the OnlyFans or like the prostitute girlfriend? Some shit like
maybe
that?
I don't remember. I just know like there's a few incidents.
Didn't Wings fuck like with the girlfriend of one of his biggest fans?
I don't know
that
that.
him?
That's crazy.
I thought he was like married or had a girlfriend he lived with or something that he also like hated. But I can't remember. Like I said, I don't know too much about
I don't know
him.
if this is Wings, but it's some other like fat lol cow, you know,
Yeah.
who streams. I think it's like some kind of internet personality, but basically he met like his biggest fan.
Yeah.
And they went to a wedding. It was his wedding. It was the fan's wedding, right? And then he was hanging out with them, talking on stream, like, yeah, this is my biggest fan, invited me to his wedding, blah, blah, blah. And then while he goes to the restaurant, like the fan goes to the restroom, Wings of Redemption starts fucking making out with his wife on camera.
That doesn't seem like a Wings of Redemption type of thing though. Like I
Was it
don't think
really?
I've ever seen him
Might have been shit.
outside. I don't think I've seen Wings outside of his room.
Jesus Christ.
Like every clip of him is him sitting in his room, and it's so funny, dude. He's from Alabama, but he's like a big Braves fan and everything. He's like a Braves jersey in the back. I'm like, this is our fan base, Wings of Redemption.
Wait, he's from Georgia?
I think he lives in Alabama if I remember correctly, but
Braves fan.
like he's a Braves fan because a lot of people from the South typically are. But
Yeah.
it's just so funny.
I don't think it was Wings. God damn it.
It might have been Boogie.
Maybe Ice Poseidon, because he's another
No.
locale and that seems like something up his alley. Oh, speaking of Ice Poseidon, you know how he like. I used to look at his stuff back in like high school, and he had like the Andes. Do you know anything about the Andes, like the Asian Andy, Burger Andy?
Dude, have you seen
Andes.
Asian Andy?
I was gonna
with
say
the,
Asian Andy with the squatters.
yeah,
I was just about to bring that up. It was-
You walked into me watching that.
Okay,
Those-
that's-
those are
'Cause he heard a bunch of just fucking incoherent screaming
Yeah.
upstairs, and then he came upstairs and we were like, "What the fuck are you watching?"
Yeah.
And I explained like the whole squatting thing, and he was like, "Okay, this is pretty
Dude, my
funny."
friends and I,
lady who won't get out of his
friend's
house.
my friends and I had like a watch party of that on Discord like a few months ago, and it was like one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
I was just itching for the next one every
Yeah, it
single
was,
time.
dude.
Like,
It was so
That lady was
good.
awful.
And
She
then the
was
one guy that finally got her out, like, it's so bad because Andy was doing a lot of crap.
Was
You-
that Ice Poseidon? Who was it?
It wasn't Ice Poseidon. It was another dude. I think it was like in that universe.
Yeah. Way more vulgar.
Yeah, because like Andy was doing stuff where he was like smoking weed every day,
Yeah,
blah blah blah.
yeah.
He was like putting shit on the door,
Yeah, yeah.
always obviously 24/7 blasting TTS,
Music, yeah.
and no matter what, like she just did not break. And it took him calling this one dude in, and it was just literally one day with him there, and they finally got her out. And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
he could honestly make a job out of doing that, just getting squatters
I
out of
was
people's
talking about
house.
with John. He's not here to say, but he was watching it with me, and he was like, "I would dead ass do this.
Yeah.
if I got paid to do it."
Like, yeah.
He's like, I would do it for fun, is what he said. Like,
Yeah, I mean, just get a
trolling
stream.
people.
And
with
honestly,
shitty people.
And
Yeah.
honestly, that would be like an insane way to kickstart a streaming career. Is you getting people?
The squatter remover.
Yeah, because you could just literally just
I
basically
think we need to
copy his flow.
rebrand the Scatcast.
Like you could just steal Asian Andy's whole flow and just do the same thing and
Yeah,
stream
because
it.
like if she hits
Like
him,
I
then
would
she
watch that every day.
Imagine like us and Aiden, just like fucking with people, maybe even KJ, just fucking with people like squatters.
Yeah, like that would be hilarious.
Dude.
Those are such good videos. Have you never actually like watched them though, or just seen like?
I've just
from when
seen the. I just saw the squatting arc. That's all I really know of.
Yeah,
Asian
that's what
Andy.
I'm saying.
No, I'm not talking about Asian Andy himself. I'm saying like you. Have you seen like the full videos of the squat arc, or just from
No,
like what he
yeah,
was
Just
watching?
like, just like when he
Yeah.
walks upstairs
Dude,
to see what the screaming is about.
Honestly, I'd recommend go and sit down because he has them all like condensed in like a series.
yeah, like a
They're
4-part series.
they're actually so entertaining. Like seriously, it's really
It's-
fucking good
it,
concept.
it reminds me of like 2016 YouTube.
Yeah, like
But
that, yeah, that's like the perfect way to put it.
3, 4, whatever.
Because that's when he was like big with Ice Poseidon because they did like the big IRL streams where he
okay.
just had all these other sort of mini locales with like the Andes. But Asian Andy, like they were just kind of dudes that would just do anything for money. So like
Yeah.
Asian Andy, he was like first on Ice Poseidon stuff, and then he kind of grew up himself because he does IRL streams, but he'd have
TTS.
TTS on his backpack where they'd play Ram Ranch in the middle of like
Yeah,
a
he
funeral.
literally just goes about his day and just straight faces the entire time and just lets TTS do the entire thing.
Yeah.
Like people donate and just play shit to make him embarrassed in public, but he just sits there like
Yeah, like literally stone faced.
he'll sit in a barber shop or like the DMV just sitting there. And then they'll play like, like Ram Ranch or like some really vulgar like
And people will be like
TTS.
staring at him.
People around him were like,
Like people will go up to him and be like, "Hey, is that you?" And he like will ignore them. Like
like,
he's
"No."
yeah,
the victim of abuse, get away from me.
and like, but you know they're playing something bad when he freaks out and has to like turn it down or whatever. Because there's been times I've seen clips of him where they'll play something and he's like freaks out.
Well,
'Cause
I'm not
usually-
here to meet a 14-year-old insurance at all.
yeah, yeah, exactly, literally.
I have a bomb. I have a bomb. I have a bomb.
Yeah, now you gotta
Yeah, literally.
fire.
I'm pretty sure people have done it to him where he's been in a restaurant. It's like, I have a bomb on me. I have a bomb on me, and he's like, oh, okay, turns it down.
I saw
Yeah.
a clip the other day of this guy who was disabled. I think he had like cerebral palsy or something. But he was literally he was in the he literally was in the Stephen Hawking situation.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
And then he's going through the Walmart and he's playing on like his little TTS like. She's feeding me drugs and keeping me like
yes.
Like,
I've seen that one. She's like, "Guys, stop it.
She's like, stop that! Like as a joke.
Yeah, dude, that
It's
was
so funny. Yeah. He's like, I am here to meet a stripper. And it's like his mom's always getting like mad at him. But I feel like if I was in that situation, that's exactly what I would be doing.
funny.
Yeah, like, what else are you going to do? What else are you going to do?
I like those pranks of people acting like they're foreign, and then they hand over like a Google Translate, and then it translates like "fuck you, you look so ugly." And they're like,
I've never seen those, but that's not
they
funny.
basically gaslight the other person in the feeling
yeah.
bad.
Yeah, I got anything else to add?
I don't-
Good rap.
Yeah.
All right, what do you with to say, Martin?
Yeah, what do you have to say, Martin? Good talk.
This is the first time I've had a guest fall asleep on
Yeah,
the show.
that is crazy.
He is knocked for the night. 767.
And now I got to drive him back home.
Well, I hope he gets home safely.
Well, thank you
life
guys
mine.
always for watching and listening.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you to our guests today.
Thank you for
Luke
having
and
me.
Martin.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
So, Martin, sorry.
Marvin.
Martin, what do you know about a cell raise? All right, well,
Riveting.
Cellray is owned by good friends of the show. We had one of their co-founders, Tyler, on an episode. He talks about the platform, what it is, more tech stuff. If you're interested in that, like a more educational episode, I would go tune into that one. Really, really cool, really interesting guy. One of my best friends. Well, essentially, it's an app you can download on your phone, or they have a web client too, sellraze.com. And if you own a business, if you're trying to sell some stuff, you can link up your Amazon, eBay, Mercari, all those accounts up to one place, and then you just do one listing and it automatically will put it on those 3 other platforms, automatically tracks the inventory, everything, super handy. They currently have a membership. Let me pull up the details. I'm pretty sure you can get like a few free trades, but it is $10 a month if you want to try it out, or $30 a year, which would be approximately $250 a month if y'all wanted to try it out. So don't forget to check out the Scatcast every Wednesday morning. We go up on YouTube, Spotify. What else we got? Amazon, Apple,
Mercari.
What? That's a web store. Anyway, anything y'all want to plug?
TikTok. That was another one.
No, I have nothing to plug. Just here with the boys. That's it. Nothing to plug.
Anything you want to plug, Martin?
Nice.
All right, and with that, we'll see you guys next week. All right,
Next time.
have a good one.